All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on a deceptively simple story that perfectly breaks down the true anatomy of success. If you've ever wondered why some people absolutely crush their wildest goals while others just burn out, well, you're in the right place. We're focusing entirely on why consistency creates success, unpacking a really powerful source text called The Power of Consistency. Let's get to it. So I want to kick things off with a pretty crucial question. Do you actually need to be the best on day one? To figure this out, we're going to look at a kid named Ion. Now, Ion was a poor boy from a small village, and he had this totally massive ambition. He dreamed of becoming the absolute best runner in his town. But as you'll see in a second, the gap between that dream and his day one reality was, well, it was huge. Section 1, The Dreamer's Rough Start. There's this stark, kind of brutal contrast between Ion's internal drive and what was actually happening around him. On one hand, you have his commitment. Every single morning, he's waking up before sunrise to practice. That takes grit, right? But then, hit pause and look at the reality. He was slow, like very slow. So slow that the other boys in the village didn't just ignore him. They literally laughed at him. They explicitly told him, "You're never going to win." Just imagine putting in all that dark, early morning grind only to be met with that kind of intense ridicule. And yeah, obviously, he was deeply disappointed. I mean, who wouldn't be? It's totally natural to feel defeated when you're putting yourself out there and people are just laughing in your face. But here's the thing. He made the fundamental choice to keep going. He didn't quit. And that simple refusal to stop, that is the absolute bedrock of everything that comes next. Section 2. The Mechanics of Consistency. This right here illustrates the real secret sauce behind why consistency actually creates success. Some days, Ion ran for a full hour, but on super busy days, he only ran for 15 minutes. You see, consistency doesn't mean rigidity. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect or grind for hours every single day until you drop. It literally just means showing up and adapting to whatever time and energy you actually have. This source text highlights a really vital detail here. Even on days when Ion had absolutely zero motivation, he still executed the habit. It's a classic principle of behavioral psychology, really. Action precedes motivation. By locking in just those 15 minutes on a terrible day, he kept the habit alive. He kept the momentum going. Section 3. The Ultimate Test. So, spoiler alert, there was no overnight success here. First, it's just him practicing alone in the dark before sunrise. Then, months pass. Just months of quiet, unglamorous, kind of boring effort. But then, the village announces a massive race. Out of nowhere, all these naturally talented runners step up. Ion's quiet little morning routine was about to be dragged right into the spotlight. And honestly, given his rough start, everybody in the village expected the underdog to totally fail. They remembered the slow kid they were mocking a few months ago, and they fully expected him to just get crushed by all that natural talent. When the starting gun went off, it actually seemed like the village was right. Ian wasn't the quickest off the line. Not at all. But he had this massive psychological edge. He grounded himself. He remembered every single one of those dark, cold mornings where he was out there putting in the work while his competitors were literally at home sleeping. So he doesn't panic about being behind at the start. He just falls back on his training. Step by step, he just keeps moving forward. And then, in this tremendous burst of energy right near the finish line, Ian steadily passes everyone else and miraculously wins the race. The crowd was absolutely stunned. Section 4. The Secret to Success. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Those exact same boys who were so cruelly laughing at him back in the beginning, the ones who said he'd never win, they're now the ones crowding around him completely amazed, asking, "How did you become so good?" They wanted the hack, They were looking for some magic trick that skips the hard work. But Ian just smiles and gives an answer that reveals the whole thing. He says, "I wasn't better than you when I started. I simply refused to stop." I love that. It totally shatters the myth that you need innate genius to win. Success isn't about natural talent. It's about a relentless, flexible refusal to throw in the towel. To bring it all together for this explainer, these 2 points show us exactly why consistency creates such massive success. Number 1, you do not need to be the best on day 1. Ian for sure wasn't. And number 2, consistency turns small efforts into extraordinary results. All those unglamorous, tiny actions, even just a measly 15 minutes on a bad day, they compound over time into undeniable achievements. So I want to leave you with this to chew on for your own life. What small effort will you absolutely refuse to stop today? Because as this story shows us, you don't need a mountain of talent to make it happen. You just have to start, embrace how awkward the beginning is, and just keep showing up. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.